Hi guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Gillingham match review. Now, I am fully aware that this is very late, 2 days too late in fact, but I've just been really busy with work and what have you over the weekend, so I haven't been able to do it, but I wanted to make a video on it because I didn't want everyone to think that I'm just not making match reviews because we haven't been playing particularly well, which is exactly the case. We haven't been playing very well, but yeah, I was busy over the weekend, so I couldn't really, or I didn't have time to make the video. But anyway, we did draw 2-2 with Gillingham in what was an incredibly frustrating game. But going into the game, we went unchanged ball Lafferty. Lafferty started because of Wyke's injury. Now, I wanted to see more changes, given the way our play has been over the last couple of games. I feel like Parkinson, although when we're winning, I understand why you would keep an unchanged side, because of course, changing an unbeaten side or a winning side, I truly believe that you shouldn't change a winning side. There's no point to it. That's fair enough, but I feel like he's clinging onto that run we had through January for dear life, and that is the reason he is not changing the side. He's been very stubborn in that sense, which is quite frustrating. I do believe we needed a bit of a shake-up given the previous two performances, and he's just proving to be a very stubborn manager. But anyway, we go into the games. The first half was absolutely atrocious. It was garbage, and you know, Gillingham were probably just about better than us in some aspects. I mean, there were phases where we held possession and we actually looked somewhat better than Gillingham, but we weren't creating anything. And whenever we had any kind of momentum going forward, we'd kill it off immediately with a bad pass that would go straight to a Gillingham player or it'd go straight out of play. And that was my main frustration with the first half, is that nobody seemed to be on the same wavelength. There was so many passes that would go out of play, or someone would make a run one way but we'd pass it the other so it'd go straight to them. We were just we just weren't on the same wavelength at all, and the lads just didn't seem up for it whatsoever, which was so frustrating. And we were just so poor all over the park, and we made it so easy for Gillingham. We just wanted to play around the ball in front of them. We weren't trying to get in behind them. There was no creativity. I think there was one chance for us in that first half, and that was Maguire, who managed to. It was almost like out of frustration. You could see that no one else is doing anything. They're just kind of lethargically wandering around the pitch. So he tried to make something of his own, managed to twist and turn in and around the box, and he hit it straight at the keeper, who's managed to parry it away for a corner. But other than that, that was a terrible first half. I'm pretty sure Gillingham fans would agree. From both sides, it was just dire. It was terrible to watch. We came out in the second half, and although I still don't think we were great, we managed to get ourselves in the lead. And it was Lafferty who, in the second half, was absolutely fantastic. In the first half, I think he was just as bad as Charlie White, to be honest with you, and he is a bad football player in my opinion. But in the second half, I feel like he just needed that 45 minutes to get going. I was giving him a bit of leeway anyway, because I know he hadn't started a game in a hell of a long time. But Lafferty in the second half, he was great. He was winning balls in the air. He looks so much better technically on the ball than Charlie White, which doesn't take much, but he does look a lot better on the ball than White. But anyway, ball gets put into the box from Hume, his 90th cross into the box that afternoon, and only one decent one. He manages to find Lafferty and he heads it in the back of the net, which was a great finish. We weren't making more chances in the second half, although I still don't think we played particularly well. We definitely made more chances, but Gillingham looked so threatening on the counter-attack. They had that pace, and our back line just looked really shaky throughout the game. And they did manage to get their equaliser, and it was former Sunderland man Mandron who got the goal after some absolutely garbage defending. I mean, the ball's put in the box, and we literally had 2 or 3 chances to get it away, but there's defenders fall over all over the place. Willis looked like he didn't know where the ball was, so he was almost like kind of falling over, and they managed to tuck it away through a goalmouth scramble. And from then on, the sort of back end of the second half, I think Gillingham probably deserved a lot more than what they got, because for me, McLaughlin made a good couple of absolutely class saves, and really saved our arse. And Gillingham would probably feel hard done by not to get away with 3 points at some periods during the game, the second half anyway. But we did manage to break away. We managed to intercept it in the middle. Dobson picked it up, and it's a fantastic through ball, and that's what we need to see more of, some more forward passing from our central midfielders, and that's what he did. It was the first sort of positive pass from Dobson all afternoon, rather than a sideways or a backwards pass, and he's managed to slip Lafferty through. He's one-on-one with the keeper, and he's just nicked it past him to make it 2-1. Now, the thing that's more frustrating here, of course, we did concede right in the last minute. It was a good finish, but the defending bit before it was poor. I feel like we could have got in the faces a lot quicker. I think we were very lazy across the back. Again, it was very lethargic. That's probably the best word to use for a lot of the players on Saturday. Very, very lethargic. No one really seemed up for it. But yeah, the ball came to Mandron again, former Sunderland man, and beats the keeper. But I feel like we had more than enough time. We had ample time to close him down, and that didn't happen. We absolutely bottled it. Now, I think a frustrating thing as well for me is how stubborn Parkinson has been, which is something I alluded to earlier. Not only did he not make any changes apart from the forced one, Lafferty, at the beginning of the game, he didn't make a sub until, the 81st minute, something like that. And he did change the formation, but for me, he's more of a reactive manager rather than a proactive manager. He waits for shit to happen for him to act on it, if that makes sense, rather than being proactive. You could see the way the game were going. As soon as we went a goal up, Gillingham were at us, then he should be making changes. He waits for shit to happen and then starts throwing plays on the pitch. And even then, it's far too late. It's far too late for anyone to make an impact. Semenyo, for me, the last couple of times we've seen him, he's looked, it looks like a bit of a threat. He's got raw pace. He's very direct. And I think that's something we should be using to our advantage rather than bringing him on when there's like bloody 4 minutes left when he can't really make an impact on the game. Or as much as we would like to. And he needs to be making subs in the, after the hour mark, 65, 70 odd minutes maximum, do you know what I mean? And give players time to show what they're worth, because he's brought in these players, these new players, and we're not seeing any of them, apart from Lafferty and Semenyo coming on for the final 3 minutes of the game. And same with Scowen as well. But yeah, we definitely did deserve 3 points. And it was very, very poor. It was very poor. And the most frustrating thing is I thought we were going to get away with the 2-1 win, which I think would have been probably harsh on Gillingham. But I thought we were going to get away with it. There was plenty of other results that went our way, and we would have been sat in third, just a point behind second, and that would have been an ideal scenario, obviously, but we conceded. And the frustrating thing now is we're currently in fifth, and the 3 teams below us, all on the same points as Pompey and what have you, they all have a game in hand. And if they win their game in hand, which of course isn't a God-given right for them to win it, but if they do win their game in hand, then we go straight out the playoff places, which is just a nightmare, an absolute nightmare, and it basically just puts so much pressure on us to get back to winning ways over the next week, because we have Bristol Rovers on Tuesday, we have Blackpool on Saturday, and for me, 9 points is an absolute must. 9 points, 6 points is an absolute must in those games, and we need to improve massively, and I think Parkinson really needs to start making changes. For me, I'd put Lynch back in the back 3. I'm not too sure how I'd drop potentially Ozturk, who I think all in all hasn't had a terrible season. I know he's got a lot of slate and a lot of shit off different people on social media, but he is looking back to his sort of shaky self again. Flanagan looked a little bit shaky as well, but I still think Flanagan he offers a threat going forward from set pieces, although that's the most frustrating thing. He gets sort of like a free header every single game and always bottles it every single time. Had a really, really good chance in that first half. Pretty much a free header, and he just ballooned it over. He just doesn't have that control over it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think we need a change to the back 3. Maybe bring in Smith, who we did bring in recently. Who I'm not going to lie, I don't know a massive amount about. But he's got experience. But in saying that, so does Lynch. I'd rather just see Lynch being brought back into it. He's used to this system as well. But I would also bring in Scowen and probably take off Power, because Power for me, I don't see what he adds. He has that leadership quality, and you can see him barking orders across the place, but he doesn't do anything with the ball. We are so passive across the centre of our midfield. There's periods where 15-20 minutes could pass and neither Power or Dobson have touched the ball, because they're so easy to break down, and our only one route really is get it out to the wing backs and bomb down the right or left hand side and get balls into the box, which is fine, but you need more than one plan. We need our central midfielders to be more creative and more direct in actually testing them, and that's been my problem throughout the season for large parts anyway, because Power and Dobson, although I actually prefer Dobson, and you could see that on Saturday, the one forward pass he made left his 1-1 with the keeper, whereas Power he's just a passenger. He really is a passenger, and for a team that is supposed to be going for promotion, he's too cautious, he's too wary, and he kind of sits off the ball. He sits along with the back 3 almost. And I know some players can play deep and the other one needs to go forward, but that isn't happening. That isn't happening. And particularly, you know, with no disrespect for Gillingham, we should be beating Gillingham at home. So for him to have that sort of cautious approach, you know, rather than having the confidence in your own ability to get forward or at least attempt to get on the ball and make things happen, I think that just shows a lot. It's poor. It's really, really poor. And with Scowen, I think he's simply a better player. I've seen him plenty of times, and how he's not getting a game within these two midfielders, I do not know. I do not know whatsoever. And Scowen, to be fair, he can play on the right if needs be. He can play as a sort of attacking midfielder. He can play in the sitting role. He can do any of that. I'm not saying he's an absolute world beater because I don't think he is, but he's a good championship level player. And also maybe, you know, Denver Hume, who, you know, I've given him so much praise this season. I think he is a good attacking threat, but his end product is so poor. Defensively, he's very weak. But, you know, and there were some times, you know, when we were lacking that bit of spark and creativity on Saturday where Denver Hume would just take it amongst himself, to just grab the ball and just run at him. And he will take on one or two players, but his crossing ability just diabolical, or at least it is at the minute. Apart from the goal he obviously set up for Lafferty. But, you know, maybe bringing Declan John in, because again, he's a championship quality player. But I think because, like I say, we went on that run, that unbeaten run, Parkinson's just been very stubborn and he's refusing to change anything. And he needs to do that ASAP. He needs to drop being this stubborn and change it, and stop being so reactive and be proactive and be ready for what's to come. Because if we continue this way, then we're not going up. We won't even make the playoffs. Because I just hope to God that unbeaten run for us wasn't our purple patch, and we can continue and get back to that kind of way. Because at the minute it's just really negative, and I'm struggling to find any positives at the minute. Apart from Lafferty getting the 2 goals, which is great. If we play, you know, any levels above, particularly in the first half, and whilst Lafferty just seemed to be in that kind of mood, we could have got away with a win on Saturday, and quite a heavy one. But I just feel like the majority of the team really let themselves down on Saturday. But anyway, we do go to Bristol Rovers on Tuesday, which is a must-win for me. Saturday we have Blackpool as well. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch the Bristol Rovers game because I'm doing the night shift at work, but I am going to the Blackpool away game, so if you do see us there, don't hesitate to say hi. It'd be nice to meet you guys. But yeah, so 6 points is an absolute must. There's no ifs and buts. We need the 6 points to keep the pressure on the top 2, or at least those around us in the playoffs. So yeah, it's a really, really disappointing point. Gillingham deserve it 100%. I feel like we probably just about deserve to lose, if anything, because of the save from McLaughlin, the saves that he had to make. But we definitely should not be conceding in the 96th minute. 100%. We should be able to, you know, see that one out. I mean, to be fair, how the hell there was 6 minutes added on, I do not know anyway, because nothing happened. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how the hell 6 minutes were added on. But either way, yeah, 2-2. I mean, if you're looking at any positive, we didn't lose, and that's it. But other than that, there isn't really any positives whatsoever. But that'll be it, guys. If you have enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already, to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care and stay jump.